X2. Wow, there were a lot of X games. This one definitely was a struggle for me. Simply because, I never played it in a while. Not like the first Mega Man X. But we'll see what I can do. Mega Man X2 is a direct sequel to Mega Man X1, pretty much released a year previous, which kind of seems like a problem, or would be a problem, but, we could talk about some of the things that don't make it a problem. It's not that bad, when it comes to stuff like this. Mega Man X2 takes place in the near future, in which humans try to peacefully coexist with intelligent robots called Reploids. I don't know why they continue to do this, but hey, they continuously do this. You gotta have faith sometimes. There are a lot of good Reploids, with some of them becoming Mavericks, threatening your daily life, which you don't know who is who or what is what, but at the same time, you can kind of understand. Not every person is a bad person, but there are some bad people out there. You just don't know who's that, is. Pretty much the plot follows the protagonist X, the same Maverick Gunner who saved humanity from the evil Sigma, the bald-headed menace from 6 months earlier. Yes, I said bald-headed menace. That man does not have hair. Why doesn't he ever create a body with hair, A trio of Mavericks calling themselves the X-Hunters have arisen with the intent on destroying X by luring him with the body parts of his comrade Zero. God knows how they got Zero's body parts. Pretty much Zero died, in the conflict with Sigma from, just Fortress 1, the first one. And now that you go through this, you go through the entry stage in which you actually fight a cool new boss. One that's actually in the background and stuff with the new chip, which I will talk about later. Pretty much, you do that. After that is now the struggle with all 8 bosses. Let's have fun with this one. The presentation of the game is a step up from the first game, despite it being very similar, which in a certain spots does look very good. Hell, X even starts off with, a dash from the beginning. You don't have to get a leg upgrade. All the leg upgrade does is just do an air dash. But in this one, you start off with a dash, which is phenomenal because that dash has been useful from this game forth. This is the first game where you don't need the leg parts just to do the dash. You need the leg parts for something completely different, which we will get to in further games. Trust me and believe in this one. But despite it being very similar, it is due to the utilization of the CX4 chip, that chip that allows a lot of things to happen, like, overdrive archers just coming in from the background and jumping and doing all that stuff. It even has assets unique that is from the first game to this game that, kind of make it a little better. Gameplay does expand upon the first game. It's like the first one, but it's definitely bigger and better. I don't like the boss room capsule rematches though. That one was the one that kind of had me going, oh no, this is how it was for the rest of the X games. Wow, the X games, and I'm not gonna lie to you, are my favorite ones in there. They kind of have this thing of, you go here, then you have a room full of capsules, defeat other bosses. I like the first one with, it was more natural when you were just running through the base, headed next to, boss fight, previous boss, kind of makes it seem more cool and natural. But due to the new powers, I kind of didn't mind it. You have more skills. You even have the Giga Crush, which again is a staple for future games. I want to say this one is easier, but I definitely be lying. I know the first one a lot more than this one. I can recite the first one from start to finish and know where everything is. This one, having to relearn where everything is and kind of figuring it out, kind of was a hassle, but I was able to figure it out. Pretty much the grind is figuring out the boss weaknesses, kind of like the first one, and figuring out how to defeat them with their various weaknesses, learning their patterns and all that good stuff. And the side bosses, which are Agile, Violin, and Old Man, aka Not Wily, aka Surges, and figuring out that Wheel Gator is weak to Strike Chain, Bubble Crab, Spin Wheel, Flame Stag, Bubble Splash, Mothma, Speed Burner, Mana Signals, Silk Shot, Crystal Snail, Magnet Mines, and Overdrive Archers, Crystal Hunter, and Wire Sponge, Sonic Slicer, which you can kind of cut him in half. But Magna Centipede is his name. I don't care if I messed up the first time, but you know what he is. He's a centipede. God knows I don't like those creatures. I also like how technically only one boss kind of has the problem from the first one, the boss breaker, the AI breaker. Then that's literally Flame Stag. If you just charge up your Bubble Splash all the way and jump on him, he pretty much does the same thing over and over. You can catch him in a loop and there's nothing he can do. And kind of Crystal Snail, but that's how it is. Like the first one, you have to collect armor parts, heart tanks, and sub tanks for the collectibles. Also 0 parts by defeating the X-Hunters, which does stop a boss fight later with Zero, because you don't want to have to fight Zero. He's too cool to be fought as a boss fight. But if you want to fight him, just don't collect those from the X-Hunters. Leave the X-Hunters alone. You'll defeat them at the very end during their stages of the X-Hunter stage base. But genuinely, I also like how all the parts, half of them require one of the boss's weapons to actually get some of them, which is pretty cool in my book, except for one from Overdrive Oster stage, which doesn't make any sense, but we'll get to that another time. That being said, let's move on to the final level. So, you beat all 8 bosses and the X-Hunters. You get to fight Zero now. In my case, nope. Got all his pieces before the final stage and genuinely did not want to fight Zero in any way, shape, or form. You fight Sigma or Vega Sigma, as some people will call him, or Wolverine Sigma, whatever this is. This Sigma is a faster form from his first game, in which he moves at lightning speeds. When he is defeated in this form, if you manage to defeat him, you get to fight Neo Sigma. Neo Sigma looks like just a virus, or Virus Sigma, or whatever you want to call him, but he looks like just a virus that comes from the computer in the background of the boss fight, which is a 3D boss fight, which is very cool. You actually just get to fight the Sigma virus by itself. But once you defeat Sigma, you see X and Zero escape from the base, standing in front of some water. Pretty much the sky is different hues and it looks really nice against the water below as you stand there. After that, X rides in the hover bike on the highway, and at the very end of all the credits, you get a thanks for playing. And depending on whether you save Zero or not, pretty much Zero would show off his shots from the third game that you're about to find out. And if you didn't save him, the gray one is here and does nothing. But if you save him, he's here, which is great. Which leads to the next thing. What do I rate this dang game? Well, now that I completed it, this game gets my unadulterated also defeated. Meaning beat this game. It's actually really good to beat. Not all of them in the X series is like this, but we'll see what happens next. Why are you still here? Get out of here. Get out of here. You know what time it is, guys. We finally completed another episode. Jesus Christ, these are actually starting to add up and rack up, Of course, you probably already know what the next 2 games are, which is probably, very obvious considering that if you know how to count, you know how to count. But, our goal to 300 is, looking attainable. Right now, we're at, 280. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. 280. Whatever. But at some point we're going to have a little bit of a thing here that's going to quite possibly confuse a lot of people. We'll see. That being said, if you have any suggestions, put them down in the comments for later episodes, or if you have an episode that you loved or want to see, just go ahead and let me know, and I'll probably do it within reason. Not something that I clearly can't play right now. Like, you're not about to have me play like any Nintendo game and expect me to go down the emulator that I probably already did. I'm lying. Any games you want to see except for like a Saturn game that I clearly can't play. Other than that, you guys have a good one.